He's got a man. Yes! Oh, yes! Touchdown! Woo! Yeah! That's what I was saying. Matt Collins, baby. Yeah! Yes!
Yo, everybody, how you doing? King Ding back here. Getting ready to enjoy this Thursday holiday, Thanksgiving, beautiful day. I love Thanksgiving. I hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving as well. Now, what I wanted to do in this video was I wanted to start to give some attention to those NFC teams that are right on our heels, breathing down our necks for that #1 seed. Now, I'm going to talk about the games that they're playing this week and give a prediction for those games, as well as the division games, because let's face it, Dallas is still technically not out of the division, and we gotta watch what they do. So I'm going to give you a prediction of these games because they directly affect the Eagles, and we're at that point after crushing Dallas where we need to watch what's going on with the other teams in other divisions. So let's start with the first game tomorrow. I don't know if it's the first game or not, but let's start with Detroit and Minnesota. Now, Minnesota plays Detroit in Detroit on Thanksgiving. Detroit usually plays pretty well on Thanksgiving. It's a big deal for them to host a Thanksgiving Day game every Thursday. For as long as I can remember, they're always playing on Thanksgiving. So I like Detroit to beat Minnesota tomorrow on national TV. I think that the Lions will be ready to play that game. I think they'll come out and they'll beat the Vikings, which will be good for the Eagles, and it will help give us a cushion against the Vikings. The second game I want to talk about is those Dallas stinking Cowboys. The Cowboys took a beating to the Eagles on Sunday. I don't know that they have recovered from that beating. I don't know if they've recovered. They looked depressed and sad, and they wanted to cry. Woo-hoo, poor Cowboys. Ooh. But they're going to play a Chargers team which doesn't have a great record, but has been playing better of late. So I think with the fresh loss of the Eagles on Sunday, I'm going to take the Chargers in a Thanksgiving Day upset to beat the Dallas Cowboys. Ooh. I know you Dallas Cowboy fans are going, nah, man, how could he pick them against the Cowboys? Cowboys back! Cowboys are back! The Cowboys stink! Now, let's talk about, I said they stink. What are you going to say? What are you going to say? They're better than the Eagles? Psh, I don't think so. Now, the Giants play the Redskins. The Redskins are still fighting for a wild card. They're still trying. They blew a big lead in the fourth quarter to the Saints. They should have beat the Saints, and it pissed me off. But I think the Redskins are going to beat the crap out of the Giants. I wish the Giants would win, because there's nothing I would like to see more than the Giants win a few games and take themselves out of being in a position to get a franchise quarterback. That would be the worst thing that they could do, so I hope they do it. But I like the Redskins this game. I think the Redskins are going to come back strong, and they're going to win this game because they're fighting for their playoff life like Dallas. Okay? So I got the Redskins. Now, on Sunday, we got a huge, monstrous... Well, let's not talk about that game. Let's talk about the Seattle game versus the 49ers. Because why? Because San Francisco stinks. That's an easy game to pick. Seattle. Enough said. Then we got... What do we got? Then we're going to talk... Let's talk about Atlanta Falcons. Now, a lot of you aren't worried about Falcons. You think they're jokers and all that kind of stuff. I think that they're a dangerous team if they made the playoffs, because they have a good roster. Okay, I stand by that. Whether they get to the playoffs or not, I don't know. I'm not sweating them too much right now. They could never have home field against us, so that doesn't help them. But I'm keeping my eye on them from afar. I'm watching you, Atlanta. I'm watching you. And I'm keeping an eye to see what they do. And they play Tampa Bay tomorrow, or Sunday, I'm sorry. And yes, I'm going to take Atlanta to rout the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is going to get them on a winning streak. So you got to keep your eye on Atlanta. Don't worry about them. Just keep your eye on them. And then, boy, I'm getting thirsty. I'm getting really thirsty. I'm got eggnog, yo. Eggnog. Okay, I feel better. Now, I want to talk about one more game. the big game, I think, possibly the game of the week. And that is the New Orleans Saints versus the Los Angeles Rams. Now, the Rams took a beating against Minnesota last week, so they should come out pretty hungry. They're still fighting for a division, so I think they're going to come out ready to play. Then you have the New Orleans Saints, who really snuck one in last week when they beat the Redskins in dramatic fashion. They shouldn't have beat the Redskins, but they did. If the Saints can go into LA and beat the Rams this week, then I'm going to think the Saints are a lot better than I thought, and they will be my #1 chief concern, no questions asked. But when I pick this game, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the Los Angeles Rams to beat the New Orleans Saints in a hard-fought game. I think home field, and having the Rams had lost last week to Minnesota, this is kind of a big game for them. So I see the Rams beating the Saints, which in essence helps the Eagles because the Saints are right on our back. So I'm going to take the Rams, and that's how I kind of see the week going. A pretty good week in terms of the Eagles. It would be a pretty good week because the other two seeds behind us, or other two teams behind us, would have lost, Minnesota and New Orleans. So we'll see what happens. I hope you all have a Thanksgiving. Please join me later when I put out my Eagles-Bears prediction for the week. Anyways, take care. Talk to you later. And don't be a dingbat.